So, round 2 of the 8-man, and we're playing our worst enemy, Rug, red, blue, green, control. So they have Lotus Cobras, which is our biggest fear, and we'll play first. This is a really mediocre hand again. We do have a mana leak, which can stop a Lotus Cobra on the play, so 2 Jaces is not what you want to see in a hand with 1 blue source, but we'll have to stick with this. There's probably not going to be a better 6-card hand. Well, we shouldn't see one with our chances. Normally, you don't want to see your opponent's mulligan, but against a Rug, kind of do want to see it. I might be a bad person because of that, but this is one of the worst matchups blue-white has, and it's one you're going to need to get a little bit lucky on to get through, or just outplay your opponent completely. And judging from the replay I saw last round, this guy is pretty good. We'll pause this and see when he comes back. So we're back, and he kept his hand. We'll play a Skull Turn and pass the turn to him. We can represent Spell Pierce if he has a priority on his first turn, but I don't think he'd play around it. So he has his own Scalding Tarn. There we go. There's a Colonnade, which will be nice next turn. We're going to keep up Mana Leak though, because we want to make sure he doesn't get a Cobra off. So he cracks his Scalding Tarn. He's probably going to get an island or oh, he's got a mountain. So it means he's got blue sources in his hand. There's a Misty Rainforest. We're probably going to see Forest and either a Lotus Cobra or Explore. So there's Explore. We just can't let him get that jump on the mana against us, so we're going to have to crack it. Stop it. Squadron Hawk would be a pretty nice draw next turn. That would allow us to put some pressures on him. And that's not a Squadron Hawk. So we're going to keep our 2 mana open, bluff Counterspell, and pass back to him. So he's got a Lotus Cobra there, which is not good for us. Not good at all. He plays a fetch land, which is nice for him because he can play a Mana Leak off that. And we are not in a good position here. If we try to play Jace, he's going to Mana Leak it. We play Day Judgment, he might not even Mana Leak it, he may just let it resolve, and tap play his own Jace. Or he may, we're just in a bad position here. So we can't sit around letting him have this. At least, I think we're going to go for the Day of Judgment here, force him to counter it. It's really bad because he'll be able to untap play his own Jace, but we are not in a good position anyway, so we have to try to get through this. Now, saving the counter and not using it on the Explorer, it would be a misplay, because if we let him have the Explorer, he's just going to build up a certain amount of mana. He's just going to increase his mana before we have a chance of doing anything about it. We can't keep it hoping that he doesn't have a Lotus Cobra in his hand. We just have to go for it there. We knew he had the Mana Leak, so we're just going to keep on playing our expensive sorceries and hope to break through what he's got. He's got 5 mana available this turn. We see an Acidic Slime here, it could be really bad. There's a Jace or a Grook, which is bad as well. So he goes to untap 2 lands here, could be a Deprive or a Mana Leak. If he puts a creature into play, we're not as worried, but that could mean he have a Titan in hand. So we'll see what he does. Gets in for 2 damage to the Lotus Cobra. Could be that he's out of counterspells too. So he taps, plays an Explore. So he has no lands in his hand, and he doesn't have a doesn't have a counterspell, or at least he did not have a counterspell earlier. So we can resolve our Jace here. We do resolve. He probably does have a lightning bolt in his hand, which makes sense for him to keep that up. We're in a pretty hard spot again. I think the best play would be to Jason Brainstorm so we get something out of our deal. A lightning bolt's going to take care of Jace, but we'll have gotten some cards out of the deal and we'll be able to work towards what we need to do. So there, if we had found a untapped blue land, we could have cut Spell Pierce up. Funny enough, but we did not. So we're going to play the colony this turn. What do we want to put away? Let's see here. We're assuming this Jace is going to die, so we want to keep another Jace. But I don't know if we'll be able to play it next turn, even if it survives. So, assuming as a Titan, we're going to want to untap and Day of Judgment. So we'll put the Jace at the bottom. Even if we expect him to kill the Jace, but we're not going to be able to play another Jace next turn anyway. So pass the turn back to him. So there's the lightning bolt we expected. Jace is gone. So he probably has, he might have a Titan in his hand right now. We'll see. He has access to upwards of 9 mana this turn, with a fetch land and the ability to untap 2 lands with Garruk. Preordain, which is at its best in this rug deck, and this is not something that we wanted him to see right there. He did put a card on the bottom, but he put one on top, so that is another thing we don't want him to do right now. Let's see what our opponent does. So our opponent goes to attack us, which could be a good thing. I'm not certain what he's doing. There's no reason to attack somebody early. Okay, so he's going to Oracle Moldiah there, but he does not have another land on top of his deck. There's a Frost Titan, but we can play a Day of Judgment. Oh, there's a Preordain. That's not good at all. So he put a card on the bottom. He's going to put a card on top, which is going to be his Frost Titan, I'm assuming. No, he got Avengers in the card. Wow. That is a problem. So we know he has an Avengers and a card in his hand. That is a huge problem. But we do have a Deprive, and we will be able to play it. So the plan here is to Day of Judgment away his team. And we did not keep the right mana up as an idiot. And we're going to have to look for a Day of Judgment here because we misplayed. Put those on the bottom. In my mind, I was thinking I'd want to keep the Tectonic Edge up if he didn't play his Avenger, but well, we just misplayed there. Sometimes that happens. Okay. So he's going to tap 5, untap 2, play his Avenger, and he'll be able to make them huge. So we absolutely need a Day of Judgment or Preordain off the top. And the Preordain needs to find the Day of Judgment. He's also got Overrun set up. So it looks like we just lost the game on that. There's a chance to survive. But wow, it was a huge misplay. So Jace cannot draw us into anything. It's guaranteed, and we're guaranteed a loss here. There's no outs. So, good game. We'll just let him finish us off. See if he shows us any extra information. be fun if we had a. I don't even know if there's a white fog in standard right now. But yeah, there he goes. There's the game. Let's see how much he attacks us for. It should be an impressive number. So I don't play rug against rug much online. I have no idea how to sideboard correctly. So we're just going to go over what I've learned so far. Getting Jura, according to Cribbler, is just not as effective in this matchup. I can see why. They play Titans and Avengers and Cobras, and he's not really effective against any of those. So we're going to put him out. Ousts are effective against mana creatures, which he has, so we're going to use those. Journey to Nowhere should be another way to kill a mana creature. Spreading Seas, well, it seems good against a deck like that. I don't actually believe their mana is pretty solid. I don't think it's going to actually change anything. I'd like to have or another Journey in here for sure. I think I want another Tectonic Edge as well. So cut that and that. Let's see here. We have Flash Freezes. I think I'd rather have those than the Spreading Seas as well. Jaces could be brought in, but I don't see how effective they could. We just don't have the spots, I don't think. We want to keep our Squadron Hawks in, because if we can deal with their Lotus Cobra, they're just a bad control deck, and Squadron Hawks will keep them, their Krooks and Jaces under control. And I want to keep the Day of Judgments in. I think we can take out one. But they have Avenger and a lot of cards we just want to take out with those. So we can either put in another Deprive or a Jace. We want to keep the Elspeth in as another win condition, and they're effective against Planeswalkers. Elspeth is effective against Planeswalkers as well in Rage and Nervy. So I'm thinking we're going to put in a Jace here, because we just don't want to be using Deprive early game. We have these counter spells. So let's see how this works.